Focus right now with Lamar is, really getting him solid on his progressions, understanding the offense. On Saturday, he did a really good job, really, for the most part, going through his progressions, getting down to checkdowns when he had to. And then there's also the understanding, because there was a couple times when there was some pressure of him having to take off when he's standing in the pocket too long. And, that's part of us trying to make him more of a passer, but we're trying to get back to the part of, if it's there, you go run, So, it's kind of a even balance there of throw and run, but, I guess the main thing is really working good on his progressions and getting through his reads and everything like that.
From back in your day, how difficult is that it's such a fine line, and there's going to be times early in the year probably when he should have run and he didn't.
Yeah, it's, especially with someone with his talent. And then, the fact that even from spring on till now, we've been, standing in the pocket. And to get back to, if this happens, you need to be ready to take off. It is a fine line. And it takes, live reps, really getting back into it. And I think the first few games will be good for him, and he'll get a better feel for it. But, it's really a feel. You got to just have a good feel in the pocket.
He was so accurate in the spring game, so accurate the other day in the first scrimmage. I know a lot of it's him, but how much of it also is the receivers?
I think a big part of it is the receivers, and the timing that they have now. And I think a lot of that comes from working together all summer, throwing routes 2 times a week. They go out and they do it on their own 2 times a week. And, a big part of it is getting to the right depth and, the sticking and sprinting out of their break 3 steps on certain routes. And, I think it's a better understanding of everybody on the offense, both the receivers and the quarterback. And I think that's a big part of helping out with his accuracy.
What are pre-snap reads from the progression of the quarterback and
Say that again?
Pre-snap reads.
Pre-snap reads? Well, I guess it'd have to do specifically with the play, and then, depending on the play, it could be whether the safety's rotating a certain way, or if it's too high, single high, cover 2. It really depends on, really the play and then what the defense is doing. And it's harder when you go no huddle and you're going fast to get the quarterback to really look at the defense, because he's having to do so much. He's having to look to the sideline, get the signal, tell the O-line what it is, and then when he's finally ready to get the snap, that's when he finally gets to see the defense. So, it's something we've really been working on, and he's gotten a lot better at it, but it really depends on the play and the defense and what they're doing.
Well, a lot of guys pointed out that the Walker did his job of that in the scrimmage. So I guess, on your scale as a coach, how is he progressing in that particular?
He's progressed a lot. There's still times where he's got to see stuff. There's one play in the scrimmage where, there was some pressure. He did a good job, dumping the ball off to the back. But if you would have seen the rotation, the curl to the left was wide open. That's where he should have went. There's still times where he's got to see stuff, but as far as overall, he's gotten, way above where we were last year.
You've got the luxury to where most quarterback coaches don't have a backup who's actually won games, been in big games. How nice is that, and how has Kyle been so far?
It's really nice. Kyle, he's done a really good job throughout camp. I think he's kind of accepted his role, and he's really a really solid player. He'll come in and he'll get the job done if he has to, and it's comforting to know that you have that. Coming to the game, the last few years have been so uncertain at times. It's good to know going into the season that we have depth at the quarterback position. And not just Kyle, but also Juwan. He's going to be a really good player. But they've both done a really good job throughout camp. And, they're both getting a lot of reps. And, it's going to be, if something happens during the season, hopefully it won't. But I think, for the first time in a few years, we do have some depth at that position. And we could feel comfortable going in with it.
Sometimes when guys have success as a freshman, they don't do as well as a sophomore.
Yeah.
And there are many different reasons for that. How has Lamar's mentality been through spring and summer?
I think his mentality has been really good. A lot of times what happens is, at least with us, we're so busy all day. We're up from 6 in the morning to 10 at night. The kids are busy all day, that they don't get to see a lot of the hype that everybody else gets to see. And I think Lamar's done a good job of not, he claims he doesn't watch TV, and that, but I think he's done a good job of being the same person he's always been, and I think he's going to have a great year.
For you, how different is this for you to be, obviously you were on the staff last year, but to be in this role, and how much fun kind of are you having?
I'm having a lot of fun. This is where I've always wanted to be, a quarterback coach, and it's always been a dream of mine, and I'm having a lot of fun. We have a good time in the meeting room. There's times where you got to be serious and everything's on point, but then there's times where it's a little more relaxed and you gotta relax a little bit, especially during this time of the year. But
to have your own group though, did it come even a little faster than maybe you thought it would?
Yeah, that whole process went pretty quick. It was one day I was downstairs, and then almost the next day I was back upstairs. It was a quick process, but I think as a whole we're a really close group. Me and the quarterbacks, all 5 of them, and I think we're gonna have a good time this year.
Is this always where you wanted to be? You know what I mean? Like, is this what, even when you were playing, you were kind of preparing to be the coach?
Oh yeah, ever since I can remember. Like since I was Arizona State out on the field, it's always what I've always wanted to do.
You've been pretty complimentary of Jawan. Is it a possibility he could see some packages this year?
It's kind of hard to say right at this time. We're still trying to figure that all out. There is packages for him that we're preparing, but to say definitively that he's gonna, I couldn't tell you right now. We're still going through that process, and we'll see how it plays out. Crazy things have happened. 2 years ago, Kyle, he don't get a lot of reps even in camp, and then he wins the Kentucky game. So crazy things happen.
What's your impression of the walk-on, the 6'5", Sean McCormick?
He's got a really good arm. Yeah, Sean, he's done a good job when he gets in there. He's got a really good arm. We gotta get his athletic ability up a little bit, get him more flexible. But he's done a good job.
You mentioned that during the day was Lamar is good as a kind of option running we used to see him do last year.
On Saturday, Lamar finally got to run a little bit, and it was good to see him get out there. There was one time, he pulled the ball in his own read. He got down the sideline, and you saw him hit his second, burst, and it was pretty impressive. He took off, and you're still going to see it. You're still going to see it. I don't know if as much. It's going to be a balance. We're going to have to figure out a balance, but you're still going to see him run.
His 40 time isn't necessarily blazing fast. What makes him so fast?
He can just get to his top speed so fast. He's a really, really quick kid. He can really burst and accelerate. And, his 40 time where he got, it was his start, just coming out of the blocks. But when he's standing up and he gets out, he can really go. It's impressive.
How does the deep ball compare to the quarterbacks that you've seen throughout your years of watching all
Yeah.
the
It's something we've really worked on. Last year at times he would throw the ball flat, and if you throw it, kind of flatter, it has to be perfect. So he's really done a great job of putting more air on the ball, and the timing he has with the receivers right now. It's one of the more impressive things I've seen. Him throwing the deep ball. It's almost right on the money for the most part, almost every time. And like I said, a lot of that has to do with timing and reps with the receivers and getting the timing down. And I think they've done a good job all summer of getting that, and it's really showing up.
Talk about last year, and there were times Dad was saying that you guys would look at each other and go, "He doesn't know the play." It just happens because he was kind of thrown in there, right?
Yeah, he was thrown in there right away, and it's hard to get here in the summer and try to learn a whole offense in 2 months. And finally we got to an understanding where we tried to shorten it down, and scheme it down for him. But there's times he's out there and you could tell he didn't know what he was doing. He was just going off his pure athletic ability. And one thing that helped him that he really has is vision. Even now when he knows what's going on, he can see things that the other quarterbacks don't see at times. A guy that just pops wide open where, the same play happens with someone else and they might not see it. Lamar has really good, just natural vision. But yeah, at times last year, you could really see it. lot better.
Anything else?
Anything else?
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Yep,
Thanks,
thank you
Steve.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.